Thank you, Lok Hang, for that most wonderful recommendation again to all my friends from all over the world. Welcome to this evening's very exciting talk about rediscovering the Swiss fountain of youth. My name is Kit. I'm from Singapore, and I'm honored to be able to address so many friends from all over the world. Okay, so let me get on with the show. Right. All right. Now, just before we start, just take note that the stories and experiences that you are going to be hearing tonight are achievements of many of our customers and friends. Now, of course, not everyone will experience similar results, but one thing I am sure you will definitely experience youthful benefits. Now, take a look at that beautiful picture. Now, everybody knows that if it was possible to wish, we would all wish for this magical fountain of youth, right? Now, all the old, aged, and sickly, after bathing in the wonderful fountain, would emerge so young, energetic, and revitalized again. Well, if only it was as easy as that. So before we start, well, type 1 in the chat if you are okay with how you look right now and how you feel currently at your current age. Okay, that's number 1. Now, type 2 if you're okay with looking and feeling at least 10 years younger and full of energy to do all the things you love doing. Okay, I'll give you a quick 1 minute, type 1 or 2. Okay, 1 is if you're okay with how you look and how you feel currently at your age. Or type 2, if you're okay with looking and feeling at least 10 years younger and full of energy, and then doing all the things that you love. Well, I should see a lot of 2 coming up. Oh, we do have some occasional ones. Okay. Well, looks like most of you are choosing 2. Yes, I would too, myself. Okay, let's wait for the friends to finish. Oh, yeah, I'm seeing all the 2s coming up. Okay, good job, good job. Well, it looks like a lot of you are really eager, to actually feel and look much younger. Okay, now before I start, I have some bad news and some good news. Right? Now, let me first start with the bad news. Now, the bad news is the secret you are going to learn this evening. Well, first thing, it's definitely not going to turn you back into a baby. Okay? Now, neither is it going to turn you into a Miss Universe, or you're expecting to turn into Tom Cruise. Well, for those of you who have logged in tonight to join the talk, hoping that you will be achieving all this, then I would say, sorry, this is the wrong talk for you. However, the good news is, if you're looking for one or more of the following benefits, hey, then you have definitely come to the right place. Now, let us start by looking at what a cells is, because tonight's talk is very much about the cells. Now, really imagine the cells as these tiny construction workers in your body. Now, and then when these workers team up together, hey, they form tissues just like bricks in the wall. And what happens when all these different tissues join forces? Then they create things like your different organs, such as your heart, your lungs, your organ. Well, very similar to how different parts of a building, actually each one of the building has a specific function. Hey, again, that's what, guess what? What's next? Then your organs collaborate to build up the entire body systems, like your cardiovascular system, your respiratory system, or even your immunity system. Think of it, these are just like different departments in a company. And when all these systems work together, well, they create this wonderfully incredible and complex structure that is you and me, a very complete functional human being. Now, guess what? When these cells become unhealthy, it's like having faulty workers in the construction team. And of course, this can lead to issues in the tissues, probably problems in the organs, hey, and even disruptions in the different major body systems. Now, it's very similar to how when one department of a company doesn't do well, or there's a hiccup, it actually affects the entire organization. Now, in fact, unhealthy cells can contribute to many different health problems. It disrupts the smooth flow of operations of your body, and it causes issues in different parts of the body. Now, let's look at this thing called aging. Now, aging, if you think about it, it's just like the natural wear and tear on your body over time. Now, your cells, which are like little workers, have a specific job to do. Now, as time goes, these cells may undergo changes and they might not function as well as they used to. Now, let's look at cells aging. They actually age mainly because of three main reasons, okay? Now, first reason is actually something called the shortening of structures called telomeres at the end of the DNA strands. You think about it, this is just like a biological clock ticking down for the cell. Well, not something that we can control very much. Now, the second and third reasons is cells can get sick, and they get sick primarily because of two reasons. One is called toxicity, and the other is called deficiency. Now, what does toxicity mean? Toxicity merely means that the cells get poisoned or damaged by something or something that affects them. And deficiency, I think as many of you know, means that the cells are just not getting the necessary cellular nutrients to keep itself healthy. Now, these last two factors, they can actually cause a speed up in the aging process, leading to a phenomenon called premature aging. Now, let us just look at this picture. Again, I have some good news and some bad news. Now, the good news is many of us thought that we actually look and feel like this. Well, the bad news is we actually feel and look like this, right? See the picture? Now, premature aging is a very real health issue, and it is an unstoppable increasing trend. Now, it's not just about looking bad or feeling tired. Now, how many of us have heard of our younger friends and loved ones getting health conditions that in the past, you only associate with older person in their 70s or 80s? In fact, just yesterday, I was reading the newspaper and I read about this young Singapore man, only in his 30s. He actually got a stroke when he was in a hotel room. Now, if you think that is just a rare occasion, in fact, in Singapore, statistics showed that there have been a steady rise of young people in their 30s, 40s now, which is very young, right? Getting all sorts of chronic disease, not just like the ones that's being shown on this list. Now, let's just look at what is free radicals. Now, toxins, remember about toxicity. Toxins to cells are really called free radicals. You think about it, free radicals are just like all these troublemaker in your body. Now, they are just unstable molecules that can be produced naturally during processes like your body's metabolism, or they can come from external sources like pollution, radiation, or even an unhealthy lifestyle. Now, if you think about how these free radicals are so damaging, imagine free radicals are like little thieves trying to steal electrons from your cells, right? Your cells are actually very stable. Now, these little free radicals go in and steal the electrons from the cell. And in the process, they destabilize the cell, they damage your cells, and they cause the chain reactions of stealing electrons. In fact, it's quite scary. It's like a domino effect where one stolen electron leads to another, well, finally creating chaos in your cell. Now, this damage, if not controlled, can contribute to aging and many different health issues. Well, very similar to how a break-in in your house or burglary in your house can disrupt the normal functioning of a house. Now, likewise, damage to different parts of the cell can actually cause different types of health issues. Now, you might ask yourself, where do these free radicals actually come from? Well, they can come from many sources if you just look at the pictures, especially since our environment around us had changed so dramatically over the last 30 years. Well, air and water pollution is now common in many countries, right? Increased radiation from the big ozone hole in the sky, what we call the hole in the ozone layer, lets through extra radiation. And we always hear of so many of our food is genetically modified and full of pesticides, full of chemicals. And you would think that is just the environment. Well, look at our homes. Many of us encounter stress from various areas, deadlines, exams, health of our loved ones, money. Yes, can lead to stress. In fact, The other very common cause is what we call unhealthy lifestyle, right? We are always rush for time. We have a very poor diet, irregular meals. We don't eat regularly, or we overeat. And of course, when we overeat and we have lack of exercise, and then we drink alcohol, smoking. Well, the other big cause is medication, right? Many of us take various medication, in fact, like a cocktail, so many others. Now, these are just some sources of free radicals. Now, let's just look at what these free radicals do, right? Now, when our cells and its DNA get damaged, many things start to happen. Well, sometimes your good genes get turned off, and this can lead to issues like maybe slower metabolism or hormonal issues, like hormonal disruption. Now, if the bad genes gets turned on, well, it can lead to things like cancer, possibly autoimmune diseases like lupus and fibromyalgia. Now, when cells get damaged, the cells typically start to repair itself, and this cellular repair process invokes this phenomenon called inflammation. Of course, when the repair is completed, then the inflammation stops. Now, what happens if your body is under constant attack and the cells are constantly repairing itself? Then it leads to this condition called chronic inflammation. Now, chronic inflammation has been known to be the root cause of many chronic diseases, right? In fact, Times Magazine published a very well-known article for it. And it's shown that an alarming 90 chronic diseases are really caused by chronic inflammation. Now, like the old saying say, prevention is better than cure. Hence, if we can prevent chronic inflammation, we definitely can prevent chronic diseases. Let me now introduce you to the transformative power of cell therapy. Now, most people have heard of cell therapy and they think that it's something very new. Well, in fact, it dates back to the beginning of the 19th century and was pioneered by this gentleman called Dr. Paul Nihans from Switzerland. Now, in fact, today, if you go to Switzerland, one of the most famous anti-aging clinic in Switzerland is actually named after him. Now, with cell therapy, in fact, many famous film stars and well-known personalities, right, some of the common names that you know down here, have gone to Switzerland to do their stem cells anti-aging therapy. Now, let's understand a little bit what is cell therapy all about. Now, an effective cell therapy must first be able to intercept and prevent the cells from getting further damage, right? That's very important, right? Prevent further damage to the cell. Now, following that cell therapy must be able to help the cells to repair and maintain its health, right? The cell must be able to maintain its own health after that. And finally, the cells can rebuild and rejuvenate as it becomes healthier. And that is really the gist of what effective cell therapy should be able to do. All right, now, most people here know that the rich and famous celebrities fly themselves all the way to Switzerland, in order to get their cell therapy treatment, in order to make themselves do what? Look younger, have more energy and vitality. Now, these wealthy people can pay anywhere from US 30K to 50K, right? US for a 2 to 3 week treatment session, right? They check themselves into the hospital. Now, typically, if you add in the hospitalization and maybe a little bit of holidays, it may go up to even like 100K. And they have to do it every year just to sustain the results. Now, the bad news is most of us will not be able to do what these rich and famous do. Hey, now let me share the good news with you. The good news is these are actually the minority. Now, you and I can get similar results for a fraction of what these rich and famous people are paying. And best of all, we can do it from the comfort of our own home. So let me introduce you to CELERGEN. Now, formulated in Switzerland, CELERGEN is the next revolutionary step in regenerative health. Now, in fact, we are very proud to say it's the world's first oral treatment that provides similar benefits as traditional cell therapy injections. Now, CELERGEN only has these 6 ingredients, and it has been the same formulation since it was launched in May 2009. Wow, more than 15 years ago. Now, the first 3 ingredients that is yellow and in green are proprietary and no one else has it in this world. Now, the remaining 3 ingredients you may come across in some of the other supplements you have come across, But because of how it is synergistically blended together with the first three ingredients, that makes it become so potent. Now, these ingredients are at a cellular level, where your cells are able to take them in almost immediately, to be used. I often tell people that CELERGEN is not food for the body. It is actually food for the cells. Now, CELERGEN has more than 40 laboratory accreditations worldwide. Now, the ones shown here are just some of the more prestigious ones. For example, now CELERGEN is manufactured in Switzerland and also sold in Switzerland. In fact, many anti-aging clinics actually use it. Okay. Now, most people know that Switzerland is well known for their stringent quality and safety. And most of you will agree with me that if you were going to eat something that can change your cells, safety and quality should be the most important of consideration. Now, another important certification is this BSCG certificate. Now, not only does this mean that there are no drugs of any type in CELERGEN, even Olympic athletes can take it with full assurance that they won't get, tested for, drugs or steroids or whatever. But more important, as I will share with you later, it also means CELERGEN does not have any hormones. And that is good news for those that have, diseases like cancer or hormonal disorder health conditions. Now, last year, CELERGEN also received the approval from the health and science authorities in China. This makes it the first Swiss health supplement to be approved to be sold in China. In fact, on every box of CELERGEN in China, you can see the coveted blue hat logo, right? Just on the top right hand of the picture, you can see the blue hat logo. And in Hong Kong last year, CELERGEN was awarded the Outstanding Anti-Aging Brand Award after being voted by a panel of doctors and healthcare professionals. Now, if you think getting that little blue hat was easy, you know that to secure the approval, hundreds of boxes were tested, and the authorities tested and proved that CELERGEN is able to boost the body immune system and also helps to energize the person. In fact, if you pick up a box of CELERGEN in China, you can actually see these benefits stated, printed onto the boxes of all these CELERGEN in China, which is something we are very proud of. Now, what's unique that, I'd say CELERGEN is superior to many other supplements around the world is that various independent clinical studies have been conducted to prove its efficacy against various types of health conditions. Well, this includes things like arthritis, joint pain, cancer, wound recovery, boosting of the immune systems, and many others. For example, in 2019, a groundbreaking study shows that fibromyalgia sufferers experience significant relief from the symptoms like pain after taking CELERGEN. Now, remember what I said about cell therapy. Now, CELERGEN first works by protecting the healthy cells. And how does it do it? Because CELERGEN is a super antioxidant. It's able to remove free radicals from our body, hence protecting it from damaging our cells. Then it helps to repair the damaged cells. And it does this by providing high-quality cellular nutrients that the cells can use immediately. Now, when cells are able to have superior nutrients, not only does it repair itself, it helps to strengthen and rejuvenate the cells. And hence, we are able to generate newer cells which are healthier. And that is very important. Now, let's look at what makes CELERGEN so powerful. Now, the three powerful ingredients in CELERGEN are the bio-DNA cellular marine complex, the peptide E-collagen, and the hydroamine peptide. I'm going to explain one by one of them, what their function is. Now, these three ingredients are really extracted from the milk or sperm of wild-caught salmon or herring from the deep seas of France. Now, these raw ingredients, after they've been harvested, is first certified to be free of contaminants. It's then sent to one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in Switzerland where they use a Swiss co-processed DNA extraction technology that ensures that this fish DNA, or what we call the biopeptides, are still biologically active. And all this goodness is then encapsulated in a soft gel technology that's not commonly available. In fact, this capsule will bypass the stomach and dissolve only in the small intestines, where the active ingredients are then quickly absorbed into your bloodstream and then to be transported by the body to where they are needed the most. Now, let's first look at the benefits of the bio-DNA cellular marine complex. Now, clinical studies has proven that, this compound is very effective to manage osteoarthritis pain. Now, this allows you to live an active, pain-free lifestyle within weeks of taking it. It also boosts the enzyme levels and activity, which dramatically increases your energy and stamina. Now, being a super antioxidant, it also helps to counter the effects of the damaging free radicals in the body. Now, the bio-DNA cellular marine complex also gives your cells the nutrition they need to stimulate cellular enzymes critical for self-healing and energy production. It does this by triggering the cellular rejuvenation in your body. And that's why, those who started taking CELERGEN is able to observe, the very quickly a reduction of the physical signs and symptoms of aging. Now, it also has many positive effects on the mental well-being, okay? Improving overall quality of life and boosting your performance in the bedroom. And more important, it also enhances the heart function. Now, this is my good friend, Dr. Nelly. Now, just look at her. Just after 3 years of CELERGEN, you see the difference? Well, if that isn't reversing of aging, I don't know what is. Now, more important, right? These are also the effects, the benefits that she actually felt. Now, isn't this the fountain of youth that all of us are seeking? And I was just with her last week and took this picture. You realize she's literally being frozen in age. Well, this is indeed the fountain of youth that many of us are seeking. Now, let me now bring on a friend from, my dear friend from Cambodia, okay, Albert, okay. Now we have Albert share with us, his little story of, his experiences with CELERGEN. Albert,
Yes.
are you
Good
around?
evening,
All right,
everybody.
Albert,
Hi.
come let's share with the group.
Okay. Just to let you all know, I used to have sleepless night, whereby I wake up about 3 to 4 times a night to go to the toilet, and it was quite frustrating for me. And you don't have good quality sleep, and also it's quite disturbing. As such as sometimes you sit in the toilet, you feel like sleeping inside the toilet. And after I've been introduced to CELERGEN, after a week or so, I can see that my toilet pattern start to change. From 3 to 4 times, it reduced to 2. And as of now, after a year, I only go toilet maybe once or never. So I have better quality life and better sleep. And it does improve my overall energy also. And I tends to, for me, for age 65, I can swim about 1,000 meter in the swimming pool anytime. So it's quite good. And it keep you healthy and keep you energized most of the time. And you're not so tired. That I can say.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Albert. You are definitely looking younger, okay? That I must say. Okay, thank you, Albert.
Thank you.
Now, let me share with you this little story of my friend Don. Okay, yeah, Don is a very dear friend, right? And then what happened was Don um, actually was diagnosed by his doctor to have congestive heart failure, right? And the doctor was asking him and say that you got to come back for a test within a couple of weeks time, and we find that your markers don't improve, we will have to send you for surgery. Now, Don was worried because he has a friend similar condition who actually went checked himself in the hospital and didn't check out again. And thanks to his good friend Alvin, right? Alvin introduced him to CELERGEN. And of course, Don, diligently, took his capsules of CELERGEN diligently for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Wow. After 3 or 4 weeks, he went back to do the test by the doctor. And doctor found that, wow, your condition has stabilized. I think we can hold off the surgery for a while. And, come back to test again in a couple more months' time. Well, of course, after a couple more months' time, the test actually shows that his condition was improving. Voila, till today, well, Don is really happy because enlarged heart over the 3 years period has actually gone back to normal size, which is good news. And he said his heart function is returned back to normal. And this really reminds me of the story by one of my friends, okay, Jiseng. Okay, Jiseng, would you like to share with some of the audience, or the audience here, your own story?
Okay, that is not actually my story, but the story of my brother-in-law. Yeah, because he couldn't make it to the talk, so I'll share on behalf of him and my sisters. So basically, my brother-in-law had a heart attack during COVID. Yeah, he's probably just 1 year older than me. Yeah, so during his medical checkup, doctor found out that he had these hereditary heart valve issues. So his heart function is only like 48% of normal people. Yeah, he felt tired all the time. So when I found out, through my sisters, yeah, he had this condition, and also at the time, like the conditions that the improvement of, the heart issues that Kit had just shared, yeah, I share the same testimony and the same story with him, and well, he decided to give CELERGEN a try. So after basically after the first week, he felt the surge in terms of energy. Yeah, he felt very alert, and he even say that, like, wow, the first night he couldn't sleep at all, but he didn't feel tired the next day. So he has been taking CELERGEN for almost 6 months now. Yeah, he went back to do another medical checkup, and the good news is his condition has improved tremendously. So the doctor actually recommend that he doesn't need any immediate surgery to fix the heart valve issues. So he will continue to take the CELERGEN, and I'm looking forward to more good news from him in his next checkup. Because of that, my sisters also started taking CELERGEN for her hypothyroidism condition. Yeah, that's about it.
Wow, thank you, Jiseng. Really happy to hear, your brother-in-law having such good results. And this is really something that we can do for many of our loved ones, help bring quality health back into their life. Okay. Now, let me go on to the next ingredient, which is called the peptide E-collagen. Now, what's important is peptide E-collagen helps you to build your skin from the inside out. Now, it is easily absorbed into the body and acts directly on the skin, hence making it look healthier and radiant almost immediately. Okay. Now, the reason why it is so powerful is because it's made out of two main components of our outer skin layer, or what we call the collagen and the elastin. Now, many supplements out there, they just focus on the collagen and forget about the elastin. In fact, the collagen and the elastin got to go hand in hand. Think about it, it's like when you build a house, collagen is like the bricks, elastin is like the cement that actually glues the bricks together. Now, this peptide E-collagen is easily absorbed, and it can lift up and tone your slack area, improve hydration and skin thickness. And it has been proven in clinical studies to reduce line wrinkles and roughness of the skin. Now, let me share with you this story of how CELERGEN has impacted my good friend and mentor, Josephine. Now, this is year 2009, April 5th. CELERGEN was launched during that period of time, right? As Josephine has taken CELERGEN since day one when it was launched. Just look at the effect on her. Like just after taking CELERGEN for less than 1 month, you can visibly see the changes in her skin and the radiance of the person. Now I'll show you how she actually looks after the love. You see how she does not seem to age. In fact, as the years goes by, instead of aging just like many normal people do, she looks younger and younger. In fact, some would actually say she seems to be reversing in aging. Okay, now this is 2016. Wow, 2017. Did she look any different? Well, in fact, I would say she most look younger 2019. And I'll just show you her latest picture, right? This was a picture that was just taken, I think last week, okay, in 2023. You notice that Josephine has literally frozen herself in time, okay? And that is something that, many of us are looking for, okay? Now over here, I also like, to call upon another good friend all the way from Cambodia to share on her experiences of CELERGEN. Ilang, are you on the line? Hi, Ilang.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Ah, Yilang, why did you share your own experience on CELERGEN?
我用中文
Oh,
沟通比
可以,
较
no worries. You use Mandarin, then
因为
I will
yeah
translate for you.
because long time I'm no practice 大家好，我是依兰，来自柬埔寨。就是我用 CELERGEN 的故事。2022 8月份我就过去新加坡，就参加活动，就是就是活动那个叫Angle class 是吗？
Yeah. Okay. So what
是
happened
的。
is
然
yeah.
后
Yeah, let me
是
translate first. So Yilang
OK
actually came over in 2022, is it? To Singapore to join one of our activities. Okay. Yeah, go on, Yilang.
OK，然后我已经结婚2年多了，可是因为我老公比较大一点，就是比较老一点，他很想要有孩子，然后我们已经结婚2年多，那时候就已经2年多了，我们都没有孩子。然后呢，我就认识这个 CELERGEN 了，可是我有跟老公谈，他不敢给我喝。过后我从新加坡回来，我就开始偷偷喝，这样我喝应该2个月左右，就2个月多。8月我回来，然后在11月份我就查，因为当时我去，就是我们2个人又要去查身体，不知道自己已经有 baby 了，然后我们去查的时候当那天就是发现我们已经有 baby 了。所以我就相信这个CELERGEN，对。
Thank you. So Yilang was sharing that after she heard about CELERGEN, and she and the husband actually went back to Cambodia, right? Now they have been married for 2 years. Have been trying very hard for a child. The husband is a little bit older than Yilang. So what happened then? Yilang, after hearing what CELERGEN could do, started taking CELERGEN on the secret. Okay, and less than 2 months after taking CELERGEN, wow, one day she and her husband went for a medical checkup, and they were so happy to discover that she was pregnant. Okay, and Ilang, believes very much that it was actually CELERGEN that helped to strengthen up her body, improve her mood, really, resulting in her dear baby. Isn't that little baby cute? Okay, we call it a CELERGEN baby. Okay, thank you, Ilang, for your sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, here I also like to share a story of my friend Angga. Angga actually and Oli actually comes from Indonesia. One day, Oli, the wife, actually, fell very sick. Okay, and then for almost 15 years, she was actually lying on the bed. Okay, she was just using drugs to to control her pain and so forth. And it was a very sad time, for Angga. One day when Angga happened to be in Singapore on a business trip, she was actually asked by his friend to help him come to Singapore to buy CELERGEN. And during his trip into Singapore to buy CELERGEN, she was talking to one of our business partners, Joey. And Joey was explaining to him what CELERGEN does. And Angga was very curious, when Angga went back to the hotel, and then she did some research and found that there was a Western doctor who has taken CELERGEN and helped with the condition, and the condition is actually called fibromyalgia. Now, fibromyalgia, for many of you might find that there's a very big word, it's an autoimmune disease where your body has turned against you, so you are in constant pain, right? So Angga was felt very encouraged, decided to purchase 2 boxes of CELERGEN to go back to Indonesia and gave it to Oli. To his surprise, within a month or so of taking CELERGEN, Oli started showing signs of recovery. And, she's recovered to a point where, she's able to start walking, slowly regain her senses, her touch, her looks and everything. Wow. And, that was actually myself with this couple, when they were over here to celebrate our anniversary, So really happy that, CELERGEN has helped not just Angga and Oli. In fact, over the many years in Philippines and now like in US, there are studies that show that CELERGEN can help fibromyalgia patients to reduce a significant amount of their symptoms, including pain. Now, over here, I'd actually like to invite my friend Sunil. Okay, now Sunil has a very interesting experience after taking CELERGEN. Sunil, would you like to share with the audience tonight, how CELERGEN has helped you, Sunil?
Hi, thank you, Kid. So yes, what happened was that a few years ago I had some tests done, and it turned out that I had developed diabetes, which I thought was a genetic condition. Along with diabetes, my cholesterol levels were also quite high, and this had been going on for a few years. And as everybody takes medicines for both these things, I was taking it too, but I'd always been looking for something more natural to do. Then 2 years ago, I turned 60, and I've heard that, as you age, you start developing aches and pains and stuff like that. And as luck would have it, I started developing this pain in my hip, which would then go all the way down to my left knee. And I loved walking, and this would affect the walk that I would like doing. And I was kind of just telling my partner, I said, this is really, it almost feels like as if I'm starting to feel what old age feels like. Around that time, I met a friend of mine. His name is Joe. And Joe introduced me to Avita, and he invited me to one of the product talks. When I went there, they talked about all the benefits of what CELERGEN has been doing, and so my partner was with me as well, and she said, "Oh, come on, we got to get this CELERGEN and Celiva for sure. It helps our cholesterol." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, okay." I mean, we're all skeptics, still proven otherwise, and so we started taking CELERGEN and Celiva in I think at the end of July. Within about 2 weeks or so, for the first time, I started feeling no pain in my hip, which was kind of strange because I could actually walk properly, and I could bend properly as well. And to make matters better, I was on a business trip to India, and I had some blood tests done. And to my surprise, I found that my sugar levels, my diabetes levels had become better. My cholesterol levels, which were quite high when I had done my tests, about 3 months prior, that had reduced by half. So along with the pain, the benefits of the pain that I found, I also my sugar levels as well as my cholesterol levels had improved. So I mean, and it's a natural thing. So for me, that's an added benefit as well. So I my medicines on diabetes and cholesterol has been reduced. So I'm really happy to say that CELERGEN and Celiva has really worked quite well for us.
Wow, thank you, Sunil. That was really always very happy to hear where CELERGEN is able to help people to really bring quality back to your health. And I think your story will inspire many today. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Now let me go on to talk about the hydro-MN peptide. Now, the hydro-MN peptide has a very interesting property. It has the ability to protect our skin against photo-aging. Now, what does that mean? As we all know, exposure to the sun and other sources of UV radiation can actually causes our skin to age prematurely. Now, it causes our skin to have wrinkles, spots, and pigmentation. Now, this hydro-MN peptide, right? Now, I'm going to just show you this picture because why is this picture very dear to me? Now, this was actually Chun Gyok's mom, one of our dear customers. Chun Gyok has taken CELERGEN and found that it has very good effect on herself, and then she decided to give it to her mom, which at that time was 88 years old, right? 88 years old, her mother, after taking it, you can actually just see what's within a short period of 2 months. same spectacle, right, that she's wearing, you can actually notice the, on her skin, the pigmentation is actually getting lighter. And voila, in just 2 years' time, right? Again, same pair of spectacles. You can notice the vitality and the energy that has gone back. I mean, just by looking at her, you wouldn't believe that she was actually 90 years old. Now, why is this picture important to me? Because this was actually the picture that inspired me to give CELERGEN to my mom. And I'm glad to announce that, at the age of 88, with the help of CELERGEN, my mom is still able to walk. Yeah, a bit slow, but yeah, she's still able to walk. And I'm happy to be able to have the opportunity to bring her to Spain. That was our picture in Spain just a couple of months ago. Spending quality time with your loved ones, bringing them and then making sure they live it up. I mean, for all of us who have parents, this is really, what we actually want for all our parents, right? It's not how long they live, it's the quality of life that they live and enjoy, right? Now, I'm going to talk to you about what this hydro-MM peptide can. Hydro-MM peptide, it combines these few components. I'm going to go through the scientific term. You all can read for themselves. And why is so important about this? Because these components goes a long way towards helping with things like osteoarthritis and osteoporosis. As many of you know that, as we age and elderly, many of the women, one of the things that hit them is osteoporosis, which is brittleness of the bone. And this was what happened to Lily. Lily was actually the sister of one of my friend, Hong Piao, right? Sister broke her hand. You can see the picture on the left where there was a fracture. And of course, Hong Piao being a very good brother, okay, decided to give the sister CELERGEN. And you can actually see at her age, right, 70s, right, most elderly who has fracture will take a long time to heal from their breakage of bones. You can actually just within a very short time, Lily is back to doing, her what she loved most, right, cooking for the family and so forth, right? So this is, not just one instance. Many of our friends, who have, recovering, we do recommend them CELERGENs to speed up their healing. Just like my good friend here, Jermaine, right? Now, what's very interesting with this, Jermaine, because her mother, when she was first introduced to CELERGEN, was already in her 90s, okay? And then what Jermaine found was that, now Jermaine was the TCM physician. Now, the mom, because of aging, right? If you look at the foot picture, right? The left foot is swollen. And what's, I think, worries Jermaine was this hole in the leg that just doesn't heal. Despite using all sort of Chinese medication, Western medication, creams, and so forth, that wound on the leg just doesn't heal. So Jermaine decided to try CELERGEN on the mom. And voila, you can actually notice even at the age of 90s, if you give the cells the proper cellular nutrient, right? You actually boost the healing power of the cells, and you can actually see the hole start healing back. And in 8 months' time, that hole was totally gone. And right in the center, why did I include a picture of the helper? Because this also was a very interesting story. Now, Jermaine's mother couldn't swallow. So what Jermaine did was actually he had to cut CELERGEN up, pour the live DNA liquid out, and then feed the mom through that method. And what happened, instead of wasting, that shell with the remnants of it, Jermaine decided that, the helper needs the strength, so she actually asked the helper to take. Within a month of taking just that, the helper actually put on weight and actually looked far better. And then when she went out with all her friends were so surprised that they asked her what she was thinking. That's the reason why, I think that I included a story of that helper of Jermaine's mom. So always thankful that, it was able to help even people at different ages. Now, the other good thing with hydro-MM peptide is it actually reduces the glycemic index by 37%. So what that means is the food that you eat, less of it is actually turned into fats and plus sugar. And this is very useful for people with diabetic condition. Now, let me introduce you to Alex. Alex is an engineer. Okay, so Alex, where initially was told about CELERGEN, couldn't quite believe it because it was too good to be true. However, because his condition deteriorated to the point where, okay, he said, I better do something about it, right? Because I don't want to forever depends on medicine. And you can actually notice on his leg, he already was showing signs that wasn't too good, right? So to his surprise, that after he started on CELERGEN, his diabetic condition and his other three highs condition actually improved quickly. And improved so quickly because the whole family actually has a history of having the three highs. He started introducing CELERGEN to all the family members. In fact, the whole family members are really loyal fans of CELERGEN. Now, to what extent CELERGEN can help? Well, look at Mr. Tan here, right? Mr. Tan here, when before he was introduced to CELERGEN, because of his diabetes, was so serious that doctor was recommending that he amputate the feet. But Mr. Tan said that, look, I at this age, I rather die than having my foot amputated, affecting my quality of life. Luckily, a friend found out about the condition, introduced him to CELERGEN, and Mr. Tan, after taking CELERGEN, look at the legs, right? He actually helps the legs to heal. So those friends who have a diabetic and looking for a natural solution to help it, well, ask the friend who's invited you to share more about how CELERGEN could be of help to you. Now, the other interesting question that I always get is, how CELERGEN can complement cancer treatment. Now, this is where I always tell people the BSCG cert is very important, because the BSCG cert literally assures you that in the box of CELERGEN itself, there's no hormones of any type, especially no growth hormones. Now, unlike many placenta-based cell therapy products, you got to be a little bit careful. They might have growth hormones in them. Now, the other thing is CELERGEN, through clinical studies, has shown that it also helps the weak cells to rejuvenate and repair themselves. And it actually restores energy to cells and protect your normal cells against radiation, which is important because chemotherapy is basically radiation going into the body, and it helps your body to boost its immune system. Now, clinical studies that's being done on CELERGEN in a lab environment has shown some very interesting results, as you can just shown down there. Okay, I'll just pick a couple of important ones. What is important is, for some of the very aggressive cancer cells, CELERGEN has the ability to slow down the activity, which is good news, because then, it gives time for the treatment to be able to, go do its work, and then, take away all the bad cells, right? It slows down the thing, right? And then it has the ability to decrease some of the, what we call the oncogene, CIMYC, which has been shown, to be, one of the things that is very prevalent in many different types of cancer, right? And then more important, it helps your body to regain their ability to do this thing called apoptosis. Now, apoptosis is the ability of our cells to kind of self-destruct, okay, when they detect they're abnormal. In fact, you can say that cancer cells are cells that's forgotten how to die, okay? So with the presence of CELERGEN, it actually helps these cells to remember how they were supposed to function. Now, here I would like to bring on a friend, Elvin, to share his own experience of helping a friend. Elvin, would you like to share with all of us?
Yeah, it'll be my pleasure. The picture shows my very good friend Amy Chong. Amy has already just retired from International Kindergarten as the education director. She's been working very, very hard for a long, long time, many years. And in 2014, she was diagnosed to have a very aggressive form of breast cancer. And immediately upon seeking a doctor, she lives in Kuching. She came to Singapore to seek treatment and immediately was told to undergo mastectomy. So after the operation, the doctor is going to put her on very high dosage of chemo and radiotherapy. She was introduced to me by a mutual good friend of ours. And, thankfully, CELERGEN has the anti-cancer benefits. And I encourage Amy to immediately start on CELERGEN, because when you undergo chemo, good cells, bad cells, all cells will also get destroyed in that sense. So CELERGEN actually helped Amy to rebuild her immune systems. And in fact, throughout the 14 months of very high dosage of chemo and radiotherapy, we're so glad to see Amy able to continue working, able to live very healthily. She doesn't exhibit any appearance of normally cancer patient, where typically the nails will be darkish, always very nausea, always very weak, and she only had the hair gone, you know. I mean, you could see that she was wearing a cap. Apart from that, she was very healthy. And on the 25th of November 2015, after 14 months of treatment, she happily came to our office and celebrate with us that day she was declared cancer-free. And since 2015 till today, Amy has been blessed with good health, continue with CELERGEN, and very soon she'll be coming from Kuching to Singapore again for her medical checkup. And we look forward to having another good meal with Amy. Thank you very much, Kim.
Thank you, Alvin. Wow, we are always look forward to seeing Amy in the office. Okay, and this is just one of the many stories. In fact, if you are interested to know, we have many cases all over the world of people actually using CELERGEN to complement their chemotherapy treatment. Now, what else can CELERGEN do, you might ask? Okay, of course, we learned during the China studies that it enhances the immune system, right? By enhancing the activities of these two, what we call the macrophage and the NK cells, right? These are actually the immune cells in our body. And what does this mean? Well, good news. It actually means, especially during the last couple of years of COVID, CELERGEN has helped many people not just to recover quickly from their COVID. It also has helped protect many against getting COVID, or even if we get COVID, the symptoms become very mild, much more milder. Okay, so we have many stories of how CELERGEN has helped people during the COVID period, right? Now, one thing I like to kind of point out, because CELERGEN has the ability to elevate the mood. Okay, for some of you might recognize this MediaCorp artist, right? She's actually a very good friend of our CEO. And what happened is, when one day our CEO found out that, she fell into depression, she started her on CELERGEN. And, within a couple of months, she actually, found that, CELERGEN got her out from her depressive mood and give her back the quality of health. So she was so grateful that on our 10th anniversary, she actually offered to perform for free. And on that stage, I still remember, it was so touching. She actually shared her story, right, to all the audience of how CELERGEN has helped her. And she says that for many years, many people has gotten her to try and endorse supplement, but because she was never a supplement believer, she didn't do that. But because of what CELERGEN has done for her, she was so grateful. She actually, told the audience, and then in fact, you can go to YouTube and find out the video of her sharing about it. So if you do know of friends who you think, CELERGEN may be able to help in this aspect, yeah, please do so. Now I'd like to bring on my friend Daphne to share her story. Okay, Daphne, we'd like to share with everybody your own story of how CELERGEN has helped you and your family. Daphne?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm happy to share the wonderful news about my daughter recovering from insomnia. The condition that she had since young, it was a very challenging for her to have a continuous and a deep sleep every night. And needless to say, the family also suffered along with her challenges. With the lack of the restless sleep, Nicole will face additional issues like emotion instability, this which progress into the depression. And we are indeed blessed to discover CELERGEN. And eventually, Nicole overcome her sleep struggles and fully discover from depression therapy after 1.5 years. Because of witnessing her positive change and experience CELERGEN benefit myself, especially that boosting my energy, improve on the beauty, and also relieving my knee pain. This has inspired me to share CELERGEN with follower Cambodians. And I believe it's not only that. I believe it can make a positive difference in the life of other people too, right? Kate,
Yeah,
over to
sure.
you.
Yeah, really so happy, Daphne. You know, I mean, I
Yes,
have
yes,
often seen
yes.
Nicole, and yeah, thank you. They are really just like my daughters too. Now, you have heard many stories of we ordinary folks, you know, taking CELERGEN and benefiting from it. But you know, there's one very interesting thing. Why do doctors themselves take CELERGEN? In fact, you know, you can read about CELERGEN in many reputable magazines or publications like the Rob's Report. Now, Rob's Report is a very discerning magazine for the rich and famous, right? It reports things which you know the rich and famous, and inside there are many write-ups about CELERGEN, right? And even in magazines like the Thailand Tatler, those two are just two of the famous doctors in Thailand who actually use not just CELERGEN on themselves, but also on their patients. And in fact, you know, many doctors, including the famous Dr. Kenny Ober, has this to say about CELERGEN. Now, CELERGEN is not a pharmaceutical drug, but yet it truly works at a cellular level to help us to slow down our aging. And you know, none other than the famous Dr. Lucero, you know, he's known as the godfather of plastic surgery in Philippines, right? If you are a rich and famous man, you know, if and you want to go for you know some sort of aesthetic surgery, that is the person you will look for. And Dr. Lucero was sharing with me, you know, he was saying that, you know, what makes CELERGEN, you know, so beneficial to me was because, you know, for the people that I operate on, you know, they are all aged, right? And one of my biggest concern is whether they could recover well after surgery. And what he discovers is after giving all his patients the CELERGEN, it helps his patients to, you know, to recover quickly with very little, side effects or whatever it is. And more important, after that, he found that the patients were also reinvigorated and re-energized. You know, he always has this saying I will remember. He said, under my hands, if you're 60, I can make you look like 40 again. Okay, but I can never make you feel like 40 again. And hence, this is my last piece of my secret to you, okay? CELERGEN. And hence, many of his patients, you know, after taking CELERGEN, you know, has, you know, not just look better, look younger, you know, they get their energy revived and so forth, and they really lead a good life. Okay, always remember, you know, the advice that he gives. Okay, now, how do we consume CELERGEN? Now, this is one thing, you know, especially in Singapore, right? You know, many people expect this is like a miracle pill, okay? Once I take it within voila, you know, it's like a Superman now. So, you know, this is very interesting saying that, you know, one of the doctors said, why do we expect to get well in a hurry of a condition that requires a lifetime for its development? Now, many of us who have chronic health issues, right? The chronic health issue did not develop just voila overnight, okay? They probably take years and years to develop, and then finally manifesting itself in the form of some sort of chronic health disease. So when CELERGEN works to repair, yeah, it takes time. You know, just take a look at the chart. You know, different parts of the body takes different, you know, different periods of time to repair itself. Okay, so don't expect it to be like wow, you know, suddenly overnight you feel better. Now, how do you start? Take 2 soft gel daily. Okay, on an empty stomach. You know, preferably before breakfast. Typically, my recommendation is about 20 minutes before breakfast. Right, let your stomach empty. That should be the first food that your body take in to yourself every day. Now, next thing is, if you have some sort of chronic health issues that you want to target, then one of my recommendation is, you know, take 2 capsules daily for 3 months. Now, why do I say 3 months? 3 months is really a good assessment period to determine, you know, the effect CELERGEN has on you. Now, some will feel the effect in as fast as maybe 3 to 4 days, some in like 2 weeks. But typically, I would say over a period of 3 months, you will notice something changing in your body for the better. Okay. Now, when you take CELERGEN, it's important that you drink lots of water. Now, don't forget our cells itself, right? You know, easily 70-80% is actually water. So when CELERGEN takes in and it detoxes the cell, right? You know, there's a lot of water exchange and so forth. So if you don't take a lot of water, you might find that, you know, you feel a bit dehydrated or feel a bit heaty. And it might sometimes lead to constipation. So just remember, drink lots of water. Now, one very interesting thing that I typically advise my customers, right? If you really want to access Allergen on its own, you can consider to stop all your other supplements. Now, maybe aside from vitamin C, because Allergen doesn't have vitamin C, right? When you are taking things like, let's say, glucosamine, collagen and so forth, you can really consider to stop all your other supplements and just access Allergen on its own. Now, my own experience is most of my customers, after taking Allergen, would typically drop off all the other supplements and just go with CELERGEN alone. Okay, I mean that's how impactful it is. Now, some of you may ask, how much does CELERGEN cost? Right now, remember the cell therapy that we were talking about, and we are equivalent. CELERGEN is equivalent to a cell therapy by injectable, right? Now, for anti-aging effect, typically you go to a clinic in Switzerland, just the treatment itself, okay, easily USD $50,000, and you got to repeat this every year, okay, in order to sustain the effect. And let's look at CELERGEN, right? Cell therapy by oral injection. Okay, what's inside is your bio-DNA marine cellular complex. And I would say the effect, maybe not as immediate as your injectables, but, I would say almost immediate, because in a matter of 3 to 4 months, you should observe changes in your body. And for a 1 year, right, okay, you spend less than dollars 5,000. Now contrast that to spending USD 50,000 to go Switzerland. That's why I say, we have the comfort of doing it from our home, okay? Now, if you're interested to get started, you can check with your friend. There are various packages available, right? The youth package, which comprises of 6 boxes, for a single individual, that's typically good for about half a year. Now, assuming that you have reached the maintenance stage and you're just taking 1 CELERGEN a day to maintain and get better and better, then the youth package is quite suitable for half a year of consumption. Now, if you want to go for a more economical package, then I would say a silver package. Okay, a silver package, comprises of 14 boxes of CELERGEN, right? Costs you slightly more than 5,000, but you have just bought your health for the whole year. Okay, and of course you say, hey, look, no, I'm not only taking, I have my family, my grandfather, my grandmother, my children, whatever is taking, then well, consider the family package then, because on the average that will be the cheapest package. But if it's for a single individual, wow, you have just bought yourself 2 years of superior health. Okay, and for what? For a cost of probably less than about 4,000 to 5,000 a year, right? Now, what's the good news is this, okay? New Year is coming. Okay, now besides getting those package, get your additional 2 boxes at a very special prices, okay? These prices, is going to last all the way to Chinese New Year. So don't miss the package. Now, so in conclusion, okay, notice the Swiss fountain of youth with the box of CELERGEN up there. Wow. Once upon a time, a friend who cared about my health and my youthfulness shared CELERGEN with me. And with that knowledge, I took action. And myself and my family, we drank from this Swiss fountain of youth. Now tonight, your friend who cared about your health had shared this wonderful anti-aging secret with you. Now, mind you, it is okay for you to remain as you are, aged normally with all the usual aches, pains, and health issues. Hey, but it is also okay to look and feel 10 to 15 years younger. Make all the friends around you jealous and wondering why you look so young, feel so healthy and energetic. Ladies and gentlemen, the choice is yours. Thank you. I will now hand you back to my lovely MC, Lok Huang. Lok Huang.
Thank you, Kit. All right, if you feel that our Kit has given a wonderful talk tonight, very useful, very educational, show your love for Kit by clicking on the emoji love symbol. I will invite you, all right, to click. If not, then just give a thumbs up to Kit. With that, all right, any questions from the audience? Kit, we have a few questions. One of them is
okay, maybe Lok Huang, you want to announce the event first before we go to the Q&A, and then yeah. Okay.
Okay, okay, before we go into the Q&A, we are going to organize a talk in, of all places, Cambodia. So mark the calendar, 31st of March 2024, 2 p.m. Suits are in Cambodia, Phnom Penh itself. So get busy, start planning for this event that is coming up. With that, thank you very much. Kit, would you like to answer a few questions that was
All right,
posted
sure.
in the
Let me
chat?
just switch off the
One, yes.
screen and then, yeah. Okay, Lok Huang,
How,
bring
one
on
of
the
the
question.
question asked is, can you consume CELERGEN after a meal? Or
Ah,
should you, as recommended, or do it on an empty stomach before a meal?
that's a very good question. Right? We get that a lot. Now, optimally, you should consume CELERGEN on an empty stomach. Okay. One of the reason is, once you start eating food and your stomach acid is very active, what you don't want is that, the super active gastric juice acts on the CELERGEN capsules and then cause the capsule to disperse its content inside the stomach. That's not where you want it. You want it to be right where the small intestines is. Okay. So that's why we always recommend that, CELERGEN, wake up, take it first thing in the morning, and then half an hour later, life goes back to normal. That includes taking your breakfast also. But for whatever reason, if you have gastric, because if you take things too early, then what you can do is have your breakfast, let your breakfast digest for a while, about an hour or so, then go ahead and take your CELERGEN. Okay, that would be my recommendation for people who are not able to CELERGEN on an empty stomach. Okay, Lok Huang, what other questions are there?
Thank you. Even though Alvin has shared about Amy's situation, about taking CELERGEN while she was undergoing chemotherapy, there are still some reservations about, can I finish all my chemo, then I start my CELERGEN, or should I start the CELERGEN together with my chemo treatment?
Now, I do understand your concerns. I mean, if I was in your position, I would have felt that way too. And most times the doctors will caution against you taking, taking other things that might interfere with the treatment. Okay. So what I would actually suggest you do, really talk to more people. And if you need to talk to some doctor friends, for example, in the Philippines, and so forth, who has had experiences with actually using CELERGEN to help their patients, and how CELERGEN has complement their treatment, we'll be more than happy for you to facilitate a conversation. So at least you get a different opinion, from different doctors and people who have experience with CELERGEN. I must say that many doctors, because they do not know CELERGEN well, and typically they will kind of take the, I would say, the easy way out, right? I'm just very cautious. No, you should not take it kind of stuff, right? But also do your own research as to why CELERGEN is so useful to complement the cancer treatment. So remember what I said. If you notice, if you can recall some of the slides, the biomarine cell complex has the ability to protect the cells, normal cells, against the effect of radiation. So, and chemotherapy is basically a lot of radiation going through the body, trying to, bombard your cancer cells, right? And that's why, like in Amy's case, when she takes CELERGEN, after she undergo chemotherapy, she might be tired for a day or so, but typically she will bounce back, by the second day or third day, and life goes on as normal, and that's important. And for cancer patients, that's essentially really a couple of things that's important. The ability to eat well, because you need to be able to eat and get the nutrients into the body. And that's why CELERGEN provides very superior nutrients. But we will sleep well. And you can't sleep well, you are in pain and all sorts. Of course, CELERGEN is able to help manage pains and bring the quality of life back to normal levels. So you're able to sleep well. Of course, poo well, right? The other thing, there are several other things that you can also take in addition to CELERGEN that will help to complement your cancer treatment. Okay, so I welcome you to get a friend who actually introduce you. We'll be more than happy to actually match you up with some of the doctor friends, and be open and then hear a broader view and then make your own decisions. Okay. I hope that was useful for you. Okay, Lok Hwan, any other interesting questions there are?
Okay, there's one question about kidney impairment. Patients who suffer from kidney impairment, can they take CELERGEN?
Okay. So we have a couple of cases where, when I say impairment, I would believe that your kidney still has some function left, right? It's not to a point where you are in dialysis already, right? Now, as long as your kidney is still has some degree of function left, then taking on CELERGEN, it will not reverse the situation, but it might help you to prolong, the period before you need to go for dialysis. And hopefully, if it repairs some of your kidney functions, maybe not totally, that will help to give you better quality of life. Okay. Again, we'll be more than happy to also facilitate a conversation with you with people who also, during the dialysis have taken CELERGEN, and what it finds that it actually helps them. It actually helps them in terms of energy. It also helps them in being able to maybe spread out the period of when they need to go for dialysis and so forth. So we do have many friends who has a good experiences with it. Again, more than welcome. We'll facilitate a conversation with you with the right people, and then you can have a broader view of what CELERGEN can or cannot do for you.
Okay, would you have time to take one more question?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, there's a question asking about what about people with low blood platelet count? Can they take CELERGEN?
Yes, definitely. I would say that typically all these conditions is some cells in the body has probably gone a little bit haywire, right? And that's the good thing about CELERGEN. Now, I would not say that it would help the condition, but I say if there is really nothing to lose. Number one, it's not a medicine, right? You know that by taking it, I'm giving my chance of my cells to regain like maybe some of their genes, turn off some of the bad genes, turn on some of the good genes, and in that sense, right, if it helps the body to regenerate back, its own self-healing, it can help. Right, so we have cases of like in the Philippines where people with poor platelet count has encountered improvements in their health after taking it. Okay, so let CELERGEN trigger your own body self-healing system and observe for 5 to 6 months, and then do your blood test before and after and see whether CELERGEN helps you to recover. Now, I know there are many questions that all of you would like to answer. So what I would encourage you to get to the friend who's invited you to this talk, right? Send them the questions, and for sure we will get back to you. Each and every one of you who has questions, we will answer those questions, for you. Okay. So I really look forward to the next session, where I can share more with everybody. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kit, for your wonderful sharing and also for your generous sharing in getting us to understand what CELERGEN is all about. It is not drugged, but it is a food supplement for ourselves. With that, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you and good night.
We have
Bye.
the photo.
You want
Let's take a group photo.
Yes, of course. Elvin, would you like to help us to take a group photo?
Sure, provided everybody turn on and smile.
Smile.
Heart
Okay, put on your heart
emoji.
emoji.
Heart emoji. Put on
All
your heart
right.
emoji.
All right, ready, everybody? Give a bright smile because tonight we know how to be young and beautiful.
And energize.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Lox.
Thank you,
everybody.
Good night.
Thank you
See
so
you
much.
again.
Thank you for the time.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Good night.